Okay, hello, and welcome to the latest installment of And Sarah Appeared. My name is Sarah, and I'm appearing with you late night with a little bit of a deep dive, not based off of anything that I've actually gone into research, but with things that I've actually observed, things that I have actually been going through firsthand, you know, firsthand experience, and things that I have theories about, and I just want to kind of kick it out there. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is making sure that if you are in the game of some sort of illusion, or if it's something where I literally alluded it to being like the Manchurian Candidate type thing, but if you're ever, I hope you're never in this kind of situation, but if you are ever in a situation where there are things that are happening to you or around you, or in a community that affects you, if these things that are happening energetically that you're able to pick up on, as a hunch, as a nuance, as something that seems a little off or peculiar, but you're not necessarily able to prove it, one of the things that you're going to have to learn is the art of transmutation. It is very hard to get into the power of transmutation, especially when you are being psychologically or energetically infringed upon. I'll say that. With any kind of energetic manipulation, it's always an infringement or a forceful breakthrough of your personal boundaries. And that's something that you have to understand universally. It's a crime that's being committed against you. And a lot of those times, those crimes can manifest into the natural. And so with my experience, what you must do first, you need to definitely have a connection with God, with Source, with my God, Adonai, with the Holy Spirit. You've got to have a connection, because that natural divine source and connection that you have with the Most High is going to break a lot of energetic spider webs that will be casted onto you in the realm of the spirit from your opposition. There are veils, like a bridal veil. There are veils that energies can cast on you metaphysically that make negative outcomes happen for you materially. So one of the veils that can be casted on you is a veil of undesirability, a veil of isolation. You could also have uh, you know, different ties or different cloaks that are placed on you energetically, that are negative. In addition to that, you could also have literal spider webs thrown on you energetically. And I use these terms because I want your mind to be able to visualize. It's hard to be able to articulate and talk about the unseen, but if you could connect the theme of the unseen to something that you've seen in the natural, it allows for you, in the case viewer, to be able to better visualize what it is that is happening and what the function of it is. When you think of a veil, you think of a bridal veil that covers one's face. If you walked around with a veil on all day, obviously there is some sort of a veil also represents some sort of spiritual covering. A veil also can represent a type of holiness. But just like you can have a veil of holiness, there also can be a veil of unholiness. And so it's very important that you not be, ignorant of some of the things that can transpire, things that you don't have an answer to in the natural that do come out, that can be explained in the metaphysical. So with that being said, there has been a lot of talk about what's been going on with Carlee Russell. There's been a lot of talk about why did she do what she did. There has been some evidence that came out saying that she was trying to steal something, or that she was some sort of thief, that was actively researching how to go about, uh with an attempt of kidnapping. What was the cause of kidnapping, researching and watching things. Let me tell you something. Uh when it comes to being a minority, and when it comes to being a woman, you definitely have to think about, how is this impacting the rest of my community? How is this impacting the rest of my group? What was done here with Carlee, I don't know if, because this young woman is a medical student, I don't know if she is tied to any kind of faction. Meaning, is she tied to some sort of sorority? Is she tied to some sort of exclusive group within the medical community? Is there a faction or a religious group that she may be tied to? What was the driving component or reasoning behind this not so elaborate scheme that she was trying to come up with to basically rob? Or was she acting, what I'm trying to get at was Carlee Russell acting out on her behalf, or was she acting out on a behalf of a faction and group? Who sent her? Who put her up to this? Or was this something that she did entirely on her own? And was there a double entrada in what she did? There obviously wasn't anything thought out clearly about this scheme to be able to. I don't even know what the purpose of this was. What did she think the purpose of calling the authorities? And was she calling the authorities to go missing after she had stolen money? Or was she calling the authorities and going missing because she knew that she was going to be caught up with crimes of stealing money, so she thought she would just become a missing person? She didn't run off that far. I don't, I have no clue. But with something as strange as this happening, was this woman acting on the behalf of a faction or a group? Was there another purpose to this? Because this is a really dumb idea. It's like, it's really dumb to do this. And she's not a dumb person. She's not a stupid person. But what was her image important in being able to discredit more Black women who may come forward to speak about some crimes that have been casted against them? Or was her image used? And when I'm saying used, I'm not saying the media. I'm saying whatever faction or group she may be tied to, was her image being used to propel the narrative? You cannot believe Black people when they say there has been an injustice done to them. Was that a part of a greater agenda to have her go out here and do this? Or is this woman simply acting alone, and she did this out of sheer greed to avoid anyone looking into her background of her criminal record? To, is she trying to plead insanity because she felt like, I'm going to be caught with everything that has been going on? I'm going to be caught because I've been stealing. I'm going to be caught because I've been lying. So now I'm going to do something erratic and I'm going to plead insanity. And even that further weaponizes just how Black people, especially women, are taken seriously by healthcare professionals, by judicial law professionals, Because if you keep having nuances of this happening, then it's going to be like anybody who has anything to say, or anyone who actually has had an injustice done to them, who looks or fits the phenotype of Carlee Russell, could potentially be an egregious, greedy liar. And that is what hurts the African American community in the eye of the public, because when it comes to justice, though justice is blind, jurors are not. And I had wrote something, it's actually on the thumbnail of this video, but it's greed, question mark. Diabolical plot to discredit crimes against minority females and weaponize mental illness as a myth in the Black community. So I guess the question was, is this greed, or is this a part of a diabolical plot to discredit crimes against minority females and weaponize mental illness as a myth in the Black community? If Carlee Russell does not have a mental illness, then that discredits any African American woman or male who has been either not diagnosed, underdiagnosed, or wrongfully diagnosed with anything pertaining to their mental health. It also discredits African Americans who actually have any kind of mental health issues, because it causes people to look at them as like a danger to society. What she enacted and what she incited out of greed, out of being a thief, caused an uproar in her community, essentially. And while she has gone on a front to take this ludicrous act to basically get some money out of a situation, there are other people who have had real live crimes done to them. There are other people who have had actual spiritual warfare incited on them that has translated to the physical or the material, that has caused them to have hindrances in their everyday life and certain disturbances in their everyday life. And they have had to go on the front and correct that. I want to know, is this young lady connected to any sorority? I want to know if this young lady is connected to any faction or group within the medical community. I want to know if there was something that was encouraging her to incite this kind of behavior in order to have her be like a scapegoat or a fall guy, in order to interject in the minds of the general public that Black women or minorities cannot be trusted or cannot be credited with having actual issues, such as being kidnapped, or being gang stalked, or being assaulted, or anyone coming after them, because no one really would want to do that to you, and you're not that valuable of a human being. So now, for attention, you have to go on the front and you have to say that this has happened to you, when really you're covering up for your own crimes. And that is what it looks like has been going on the surface level. But due to her level of professionalism, her background, and her collegiate, accomplishments and accolades, I want to know, what faction or group is she tied to? Who is around her? What is it? A church community that is around her? Is it a sorority that is around her? Is there a medical society that is around her that may be influencing, or basically not influencing, but could be an accomplice or an accessory to why this woman who is accomplished, who is intelligent, why is she committing these crimes? And why does she feel like these money laundering, thievery crimes are something that she needs to be able to do. You know, I understand that nowadays, being any kind of medical or healthcare provider, um, you have to be careful. Nowadays, being a medical or healthcare provider, going into that industry, it costs a lot of money to be a healthcare provider. It costs a lot of money to be a nurse. It costs a lot of money to be a doctor. It costs money to have education and to go to school. That's basically what it is. And once you get done of finishing those accolades and those accomplishments, you're left with a career that is not necessarily paying you the amount that you have racketed up in debt, you know, due to taking that route, you know, in your career path. So, you know, that explains why we have a lot more people who are making money online, making money, you know, being entrepreneurs. Not that they are not intelligent enough to be first responders or nurses or doctors, but it's just like, is that lifestyle, is that career choice, was it feasible? Was it paying off what she needed to do to get done? And were there stipulations because of possibly her credit, or possibly because of her owning these loans for going to school? Were there certain stipulations that was preventing her from living a life that she was supposed to be living? I don't think that was the case. I don't know if, like I said, why she was engaging in this type of money laundering, why she would feel like she would need to, but I would definitely look into her background to see what's going on, because a lot of people are categorizing her in the same, you know, slot as Juicy Smoulier. And what I have to say about that is, those are diabolical plots to discredit crimes against minority females and males, and it's weaponizing mental illness as a myth in the Black community. I don't know. You have to be very careful, because even though we do understand there are things that happen in the metaphysical that can computate to the physical, you still have a personal responsibility as a human citizen, and furthermore, as an American citizen, you've got a responsibility to, no matter what is going on with you, no matter who's antagonizing you, no matter what's happening, you cannot break the law, meaning you cannot lie or make egregious lies about somebody kidnapping you or holding you at gunpoint or beating you up in a hate crime. You cannot make lies about that, and you cannot go out there and say that if it's not actually happening to you. No matter what you're going through, keep your integrity and do not break any laws, do not break any crimes. And if there's something that is going on, try to record any and everything that you can, so that you can be able to protect yourself, and that you can be able to also show credibility for what is going on with you. It's an unfortunate thing that has happened. You know, this is one of those things where it's just a kick in the gut when it comes to justice, but it looks like justice was served, and an individual who was an instigator of their own, you know, nuances of their own nefariousness, a lot of this is going to be happening. You're going to see a lot of people who are looked at as upstanding, upright citizens in this community, in the country, who are going to be exposed for outlandish lies that they're covering up and outlandish things that they're doing for petty reasons. And I know firsthand myself, because I've been witnessing some of the things that have been going on. Myself, I've been witnessing it and hearing about things. And like I said, it is very important that if you're going through something, well, I'll get into that in the next video. I don't know. But as far as that goes, you know, don't be a Carlee and don't be a Juicy. Bye for now.